First of all, I'd like to go through a few housekeeping rules during the webinar. So what we'll do is, if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, please use the question pane, which is inside your little GoToWebinar application that you have there. Shoot through any questions that you do have in regards to the product or in regards to Aver in general, and we'll answer them throughout the presentation. And then at the end of the presentation, what we will do is we'll have an audio-based Q&A session. So what you can do then is, in your GoToWebinar panel, there's a little raise your hand section. If you click on the raise your hand button, I will then unmute you, and then you can fire away your questions. Now, if anybody's having any problems at all hearing me, please do let me know. Shoot me through a question or a chat message, and I'll try and alleviate any problems that we do have. Okay, presenting the webinar today will be myself, Scott Young. I'm the Product Development Manager at Alloy, and we also have Tony Lee, who's the Manager of the Customer Service Department at Aver. So Tony's actually in Taiwan, so he's up quite early for us. So he's we're very grateful that he's joining in and helping us out on this webinar today. Okay, so just a little bit of a rundown of what we'll be going through today. First of all, we'll be having a company overview of Aver, which will be presented by Tony. I'll then go through a little bit about why we would choose the Aver video conferencing product, and then we'll go through an actual product overview, which will be done by Tony. And then we'll finish up with a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Okay, without further ado, I will hand over to Tony, and he will tell you all a little bit about Aver, the company. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah. Hi, how's it going, everyone? So my name is Tony, and then I'll give you guys a brief overview on who's Aver and what we do. So thank you, Scott, and thank you everyone who attended this the webinar this morning. So who's Aver? All right, we founded in 2008, and then the capital will be 32 million, and then we are publicly listed in Taiwan stock market, and then of course we're based in Taiwan, and our headquarters is located in New Taipei City. So I'm not sure if you guys have been in Taiwan before, and then it's a beautiful city, and then of course, for being hardware manufacturers, we're holding with the ISO, and then of course a lot of others such as rules, and then other safety regulations. And then for overview, we have almost 600 people around the world, and of course everything is done in Taiwan. We have our own factory and our own audits. And then another 30%, I mean, total of 600 people, and then another 30% of them is working globally. Right? And then, of course, also our manufacturer, we hold out with almost 250 patents around the world. And then, once again, our total revenue for 2013 will be US $55 million. So this is a quick overview of who's Aver. Right. Alright, so what we're focusing on technologies that we separate by the markets, right? And we separate with the three markets. One is education, and another one is surveillance, security stuff, and of course our main topic today is video conferencing. Right, and I just want to mention that for the education, and I'm not sure if you guys heard of documentary camera before, and then we're still holding #1 leaders. We have the leaders for visual license in the USA and in Europe as well. Alright, and then the second one, security. We have total solution for surveillance. We have our own IP tips. We have our own DVRs, and then of course we have our own software, which can manage all the IP cams or video. Right, and then our newest product, the VC video conference, and then we offer the full HD, which is I'm gonna give you guys the detail later on. And then once again, of course, Aver, we had over 30 years audio and video experience, especially on video processing. Okay. And then this one shows you guys global awareness. And then of course we have a training partners, such as the Lady, and then technology partners, which you guys can see on the screen right now. Yeah. And then of course our end customers. We have almost over 5,000 biggest customers around the world. Yeah. And then especially for DC, we have technical partners with the Virgins, Genet, and then of course one of the biggest ISP in Taiwan, which is CSP. Alright, that's pretty much yeah, for Aver. And then once again, we're based in Taiwan, like I said before, headquartered in Taiwan, and then we have a 50 international office, and of course we have a local rep around the world.
Okay, thank you very much, Tony. Alright guys, now what I'm going to run through now is why should we choose Aver as our video conferencing supplier. First of all, I'm going to start with why should we use video conferencing at all. As we all know, video conferencing over the years is growing. More and more people are using video conferencing as their way of communication. Even day-to-day use, even personal use, you know, such as using your iPhones for video chat, using Google Hangouts, using Skype, all those types of things. Everybody is starting to use video as their way of communication. Now, ways that video conferencing can help businesses is businesses are able to make decisions a lot quicker. Rather than waiting to travel to different offices to have face-to-face communication, we can now do it over a video conference. This allows us to be able to make decisions, make business decisions quickly and easily. As we all know, there's nothing better than actually having a face-to-face conversation with somebody. We can read the tones, we can read the facial expressions, we know what people are thinking just by looking at them. And this helps a long way in you deciding whether that person is actually listening to you or whether they're actually interested in what you're trying to tell them. Another thing is travel. How much money do companies spend traveling from office to office in a year? Thousands and thousands of dollars on airplane tickets, on taxis, on accommodation. All that can be limited by using video conferencing. Obviously, there is, you know, you're still going to have times where you do need to have that face-to-face communication, but what we can do is minimize that, where we're only doing maybe travel 4 times a year rather than 20 times a year. We all know about audio conferencing. We know the problems that exist with audio conferencing, or the hassles of audio conferencing. These are all, I wouldn't say alleviated, but they do, it makes it a lot easier when we're doing it face-to-face via video. Now, one good thing to watch is actually the link on the bottom of the screen. This presentation will be able to be downloaded after we're finished today, but it's a fantastic little video about audio conferencing And it's really a really good watch. I recommend it. Okay, as I said at the start, video conferencing is on the rise. More and more people are implementing video conferencing. Why? Because prices have come down. Businesses don't have the money to spend on travel costs. And by purchasing a video conferencing product, businesses will have an ROI in a very short time period, especially if they are doing a lot of interstate travel, going between their separate offices. Okay, where does Aver sit in the market? Okay, so from this graph you can see we have the traditional VC vendors down the bottom. Those guys are more your enterprise type customers. They have advanced features. They have, look, the product is advanced and it is difficult to configure. A lot of high-end VC systems are quite difficult to use. A lot of the time you need to actually have an IT administrator come in, set up the video conference before the end users can actually utilize it. And then at the other end of the scale, we've got the consumer grade VC, such as Skype and that type of thing, which is being used quite a lot. But as we all know, if you have had to use Skype, look, sometimes you'll get a fantastic video conversation with Skype, and sometimes it'll be terrible. It'll drop out. You'll have hassles the whole time. So in the middle, we have Aver. Aver is marketed for the SMB markets. It's allowing small to medium businesses to be able to implement a video conferencing solution, especially for those businesses that do have remote offices or they do have home users. Aver is a simple yet very function-rich product that allows any user to be able to have a video conference. Okay, why do we choose Aver? Aver is a full HD 1080p video conferencing solution. It's very economical, very low cost, but the technology behind it is fantastic. Okay, so again, we look at Aver, where Aver sits smack bang in the middle between your higher end and your consumer grade products. So cheap, basic type products with basic functionality, such as your Skype products, and then we move to the other end of the scale with expensive and complex systems that need rack-mounted servers to be able to run a video conference. Anything over a point-to-point system, you need to have your centralized MCU sitting on the internet somewhere, and they're extremely complex to configure, and you need to have an IT administrator there to actually set up a conference and allow you to run a conference. So smack bang in the middle, we have Aver again. Aver is very affordable. It's a full HD system. It's simple to configure, simple to use, and it has all the features that a higher end system does. Okay, so the difference between Aver and the traditional VC vendors. So Aver's products are all endpoints. So there's 4 major products that Aver have, which Tony will go through a bit later on. But each of those systems are endpoints. Each of them have their own camera, have their own microphone. So Aver has point-to-point solutions, but also has multi-point solutions as well. So we have a couple of products that have built-in MCUs. So we have a 4-port and a 10-port product. But again, that product is also an endpoint as well. So you don't have a separate standalone system that has to sit in the cloud somewhere or has to sit on a network somewhere. Every system that Aver has is an actual video conferencing endpoint at the same time. Now, traditional VC vendors, you need to buy your endpoint separately, you need to buy all your infrastructure, you need to license that infrastructure, you need to add software to unlock features, and you also need to pay a premium for maintenance contracts and services. With Aver, when you purchase it upfront, you purchase the product, it's a one-time cost, and then it's yours. There's no ongoing maintenance fees. It's just a one-off buy price, and it's yours to keep. So in regards to traditional VC vendors, like I said before, software licenses if you want to add capabilities to the product, recurring services and maintenance fees, and sometimes if you're using a subscription-based service, then you might be paying a monthly fee for your VC as well. Now, I also mentioned that Aver's product range is quite small. There's only about 4 or 5 products in the product line, so it makes it really easy to sell. It's not complicated, whereas other traditional VC vendors, they have hundreds of different products in their product line. You don't know which one you should be choosing, and it makes it quite difficult to also convince your end customers that you're buying the right thing for their solution. Okay, price-wise, Aver is extremely cheap compared to a lot of the other vendors. So an Aver endpoint starts from about $2,300 Australian, whereas other vendors are at least $2,000 difference. So they're starting from about $4,300. In terms of the setup and installation of the product, it's dead easy. Basically what you need to do is you plug it in. If you're using a public IP address, assign the IP address to the Aver unit, type in the IP address that you want to dial, and away you go. Dead easy. Now, if you are running it behind a NAT router or something, well then that's also doable. Just obviously a little bit more configuration is required initially in the router to get that up and running. Now, traditional VC vendors is a lot more difficult to use. You actually need to have professional installers to install the products. Okay, warranty with Aver. Aver comes with a standard 3-year warranty. Out of the box, you get 3 years worth of warranty with the Aver product. So that also tells us that Aver's product is reliable, and they're quite happy to back that up with a 3-year warranty. Every other product on the market is only a 1-year warranty out of the box. If you want to increase your warranty or you want to extend your warranty, that's going to be an additional fee for all other VC vendors. Okay, that's all on why we should choose Aver. Now I'll hand it back over to Tony and we'll actually run through the Aver products. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. So, just like Scott mentioned that Aver focusing on SMB, and then every time I talk to customers, I always say that we're offering 3 E's. 3 E. First, easy to install. The second, easy to operate it, and then third E, easy to maintain. Okay, so what I mean easy to maintain, we're offering 3 years compared with the others. And then a lot of people are gonna ask what about Aver with the others? So we got we are running the same protocol, 22306. So there will be no problem with the others. If the customer has if they have other PCs. So what we're offering right now with the Aver video conference, we're all offering full HD endpoints. So we separate by 2 types. One is point to point. We call it EDC 130. that's point-to-point device. And then the second type will be embedded MC. But with the embedded MC, we separate it with two different models. One is EDC 300, that's for embedded 4 points, and the EDC 900, that's embedded 10 sites. So this is our current 4 models, 4 type of devices. All right, first of all, EDC 130. Once again, this is a full HD, full 1080p HD DC units. And then, like I said before, we support 323 and SIP. And then for the video processing, of course, we support latest HDR 364. And of course, if customer has the previous one, of course, we can support all the video processing protocols such as HDR 361. But for usually for a video conference, we're offering not just video and audio, and of course we can support dual screen. And what I mean dual screen is that you can have a 2 screen. One with the live video, and then another one will be your PowerPoint. So people in the office can see that video and the PowerPoint. And of course our HD cameras. So with the EDC 130, of course I'm going to talk about another model 130p. But for this one, that will be the 4 times digital zoom cameras. And then of course one of our key selling points will be direct recording onto USB. And then we are the first hardware manufacturer to do this, building USB, building recording to USB. So anyone can just use their own USB and then just plug in and then press the single button for recording. And then one of most of our positive feedback our UI, not like others, we offer like easy to operate it, easy to install. And then of course a lot of people are talking about how we can manage the system. Well, of course we can do remote control, and of course we can do it from the web. And then another thing is that we can go through with the API. And one last thing is that 3 years warranty. That's I think that's the best the service for DC. So that's the EDC 130. And then for point-to-point, the second one will be 130p. And then you guys can see the pictures. The only difference will be the 130 offering digital zoom 4 times, and then this one offering 10 of course PTZ, but this one has the 16 times optical zoom. I think this is the biggest the zoom numbers on the market right now. Others are just offering like 12 times and then yeah, same thing with 130. We're still offering direct recording. And then of course the remote management from the system. Okay. So EDC 300, this is our latest coming models. Like I said before, this is embedded 4 sites. That will be I always told that 1 plus 3, 1 is local, and then 3 you can connect with 3 4 sites. We call it it's either 323 or 6 with all combinations. And of course we can support the HDMI output inputs, and of course dual screen, and then we can do the PowerPoint with the 720p resolution up to 30 frames per second. So there's no problem with the live video or showing YouTube video while you're doing the conference, or you showing other videos. And then once again, all the models in Aver, we're offering direct recording. And then, yeah, this is pretty much for embedded 4 sites. And then EDC 900, this is the embedded 10 sites, 1 plus 9, so you can have a combination of up to 9 sites of a 323 and SIP. And of course, video processing, video codec on 264, 263, 261. Dual screen, and then through VGA ports or through DVI HDMI ports. And then one of the things mentioned on is that we're offering built-in SIP service. So people using either on Aver software or any other third-party SIP software, they all can register on into the EDC 900, yeah, 300, 900. And then the EDC 300 and 900 becomes a host. So we can host 10 sites or 4 sites. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Tony.
Yep.
All right, so that's a basic run-through of the Aver product range. As I was saying before, there is only 4 major models available from Aver, so it makes it really, really simple when selecting the product that you require for that application. Now, okay, time for questions. Now, if you guys do have any audio questions, please raise your hand and I'll step through them. Anybody have any questions that you would like to ask? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll run through, there's quite a few questions coming through via the question panel. What I will do is I'll go through some of these questions and give you some of the answers to some of the questions that we've had. Okay, so we had a question earlier on about can you actually have a user on a PC connect to the Aver product range. Now, Aver themselves at this point don't have a software client for the PC, but you can use any third-party video software application as long as it uses the H323 or the SIP protocol, then you can join that conference. Now, obviously, if you're doing more than a point-to-point type call, then you would need to make sure that you are actually using and dialing into either the EVC 300 or the EVC 900. Now, what else have we got here? Okay, so we've got a question in regards to implementation with Polycom units. Now, as far as I'm aware, because they do both support SIP or H323, there should be no problems. Let me quickly just bring Tony back online and double check that. Tony, so in regards to calling from Aver to Polycom, there's no problems there?
Yeah, no problem. Just like I said before, we are running some protocol, H.323 or SIP. As long as the units running on these 2 protocols, we have no problem. We'll just test almost all the models. Yes.
Okay, so look, it's simply a matter of entering the IP address. If you're coming from Aver,
yeah.
Simply entering the IP address of that Polycom unit that you want to dial, entering the IP address, dialing away, and there should be no problems at all.
Yes, no problem. Just dial in the ID. That's it.
Okay, now another question is from Mark. Now he's got a couple of staff members that are actually overseas, and he's looking for a soft client. Now I'm pretty sure Aver are looking at implementing a soft client, but I know there's not one available yet. Is there anything you can tell us there, Tony?
Yeah, we're going to have our own software client. It's called Easy Meetup. It's going to be available this summer, I guess beginning of August. So yeah. This is SIP-based. So you can, by using the Easy Meetup with the EDC 300, 900, so users can just register on these 2 models and then start to using the video conference right away.
Okay, so that's going to be available, what, in the next couple of months?
Yeah, next couple of months.
Okay, so it's going to be a SIP-based VC client. Now, is that going to be for PC, or is it also going to be for iPads and iPhones and that type of thing?
Yeah, of course. A lot of people are talking about mobile. So first of all, of course, it's going to be available on PC, and secondly, it's going to be available on iOS and Android as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else have we got here? That looks about it in terms of the text-based questions. Nobody has any audio questions while we've got Tony online? Alright guys, well if we have no more questions, then that just about wraps things up. If you do have any questions or you need any more information on the product, you want pricing or anything, please do send me through an email or contact your Alloy account manager, and they can help you out on pricing and availability. There will also demonstrations as well. We're happy to do some demonstrations of the Aver product. Now at this point, we would need you to come into the Alloy office for that, but we will also be introducing an NFR program for the Aver product, and we'll also be looking at making demo product available very soon as well. Okay guys, let's quickly go through, make sure there's no more questions. Yep, no more questions on the text line. No more audio questions. Okay guys, thank you very much for your attendance. We really appreciate it. Now the webinar will be, or has been recorded and will be available on the Alloy website probably tomorrow sometime. Okay, thank you very much, Tony. We appreciate you joining in and
thank you, everyone.
The office nice and early.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Thank you, everybody.
All right, you guys have a good day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.